Hello there, it's Afaff from Afaff Paintball Field Reviews, and we're straying away a little bit from the Connecticut fields to look at some Pennsylvania fields. We're going to take a look at one of the biggest fields in the United States, actually, Skirmish Paintball. At Skirmish, there are over 700 acres with about 50 fields. That's a lot, so I wasn't able to cover all the fields while we were there, and I won't try to. Instead, I'm going to focus on the fields that we played, starting with Shadowlands. Shadowlands is a field going back to the roots of paintball, deep woods ball. The whole center and the vast majority of the map is drowned out in a thick underbrush that's actually as tall as the victims of the map. There are ways around, but they're sparse in cover and are vulnerable to the people on the edge of the bush. Tunnels is also staying pretty close to the woods ball vein, just minus the trees. Here, the map is littered with small hills, with a larger hill in the center set up for capture the flag type game mode. A good number of these hills are also equipped with short tunnels underneath them that a player who doesn't mind getting low can crawl or low crouch through to get to the other side of the hill. High grass throughout the field, which can lower visibility for those who are either not on top of the field or standing straight up, which isn't exactly a great idea. Alamo is a wooded structure map containing stack cover or chest high cover and shacks. The buildings are pretty close together, so it brings the players closer together in order to advance with success. There was also a 3-story construct, but I didn't dare go inside it because it looked like a pedestal for me to get destroyed, so I avoided it. Tippman City is, as the name implies, an urban environment with 1- and 2-story shacks that are surrounding a main street. On this map, there are many sniping locations, so one must stay low and in cover if they want to last long. Cargo is an entire field made almost completely of shipping containers. These containers have windows cut out of them to repurpose them as mini bunkers, and some stacked up into a 2-story building or tilted to create a ramp to shoot off of. The shooting there gets intense, especially with the noise of the rounds echoing around in the containers. Out of the 3 castles, yes, 3, we played 2, Empire Castle and Tippman Castle. Empire Castle has 2 square sections inside the actual castle, and cover intended to siege the castle. The majority of the castle has ramparts that create as a second level. 1 square is mostly open with windows and the main entrance. The other square has 2 side entrances and 1 back entrance. We played the castle sideways, so the 2 side entrances are the way to get in the beginning for us. Flanking from the outside was pretty commonplace, and was how the opposing team was able to unfortunately beat us. The Tippman Castle, the crown jewel of Skirmish, is a massive 3-story big castle complete with siege equipment attached for the attackers to use. Usually used in giant attack and defend games, the attackers must spawn outside the castle and work their way in against the near insurmountable odds that they must conquer, or that looks like they'll have to conquer. The defenders, on the other hand, must defend their flag in the center of the castle. With that said, only the attackers get respawns. The defenders are eliminated once they're hit, making each player count for the defenders. Because they bring all the groups together, there are over 300 players easily on that one field, but it can easily accommodate it as well. It sounds a little stacked for the attackers, but the castle is so massive that merely looking at the thing is intimidating as an attacker, and actually sieging it is like seriously storming castle. No playing around. The main ref there was very experienced, and all the refs working as a team to manage their games. Since the area was so large, the majority of contact from ref to ref was through radio, or walkie-talkie. 4 fields to go to. An example would be if we were at, say, Empire Castle, then the lead ref would inform us that he would move around the fields in that area for a couple more games, then have lunch, then go up front to maps like Cargo and Tunnels. Because of the large number of players, it's much more up to the players to call themselves out, unless the player specifically calls for a ref to look at them or another player. The only exception I've seen to this is when a player is out and is stuck in a crossfire. Then the refs will make sure that they can get out. For the normal games, we had about 2 or 3 refs for around 75 to 90 players. However, when they bring all the groups together for the big castle battle, they also bring the refs along. Therefore, there might be over 300 players easily on the field, but there could also easily be 6 refs that I could see, and there were more than that I couldn't see on the inside of the castle. So they seem to be adjust pretty accordingly for the amount of players that they have on the field at one time. Rental players are put into separate groups, normally depending on their experience level. Rotating maps and starting rounds was rather fluid for the sheer amount of players that we had on the field at any given time, with the normal map rotation in the area taking around 10 to 15 minutes and 30 to 35 minutes to go from the front where Cargo Draxus, which we did not play, and tunnels to back where Titman City, Titman Castle, Empire Castle, Shadowlands, and the majority of the maps were, or vice versa. The Pro Shop was a rectangular building near the end of the village. Most of the basics such as air, paint, and the like were given out in other regions of the village, or at the front parking area, as well as in the Pro Shop, but it also had equipment and gear upgrades, as well as more advanced markers and marker upgrades. The people inside the building were there just to sell. So the tech repairs were done in another building in the village that was set in an open air style with 3 people waiting to assist players with troubleshooting. There were special rules that were laid down. Avoid bunkering, shots in the gun don't count, as well as shots that land under the elbow or under the knee. Though for the elbows and knees, don't depend on it saving you, because they will call you out for it. They can still call you out for it. To summarize, Skirmish Paintball has to be one of the biggest fields out there, if not the biggest. Every game has at least 75 players with ease, and there was over 700 acres to accommodate them. The refs, while not being able to call every player, were keen on keeping the players safe, and the Pro Shop was most everything that you would need in the basics department, as well as some upgrades here and there. They were woods ball heavy with only a handful of open rec ball or speedball fields. That's it for that review, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and this is Afaff signing out.